Salutations, Utopians. Hope all is well in your world. Global here. Wanted to talk a little bit about some NBA hoops today. First off, Team USA exhibition qualifier. What an unbelievable showdown between themselves and Germany. Nail biter all the way down to the wire. LeBron with the heroics. And then, this evening, team that LeBron used to play for, Miami Heat, Summer League team, that he did not play for, obviously. Just won this 2024 Summer League championship. Shout out to Pelly Larson from Arizona, player from Sweden, Kyle Ware from Indiana, who just absolutely looked amazing. He looked what Alex Sarr was supposed to look like. Some of that could be attributed to a lack of floor general leadership. I don't know. And then Josh Christopher. Congrats to him for winning MVP. Pelly Larson, though, and Kyle Ware look like they're going to be here for many years. But I want to talk about LeBron. Speaking on the topic of Team USA, Skip, I was going to leave it all alone, but Skip Bayless goes on TV goes on Twitter, and you can check me out on Twitter, X, GL, the number 8, BAL _ sports. And I'll tell you, man, it's getting old now for me. Not necessarily with him, but just in general, the way he gets critiqued. Not because of how phenomenal he's looked. It's a collection of things that have just gotten old to me, and have led to, I don't know, at the bare minimum, me maybe playing a little devil's advocate. When I say that, what I'm about to say, because what's going on right now is very symbolic to how he's been graded in terms of a metrics. And watching him now approaching 40 with all those years of playing ball and still looking at how superior he is physically, peak condition, standing out above the rest. I mean, he looks in better shape than a lot of the young guys in their 20s. And though you have players on the team who are making some very keen plays, some very astute, having very, very astute moments of wise intelligence on the court. In particular, Drew Holiday today, Devin Booker made a lot of heads-up plays, little nuanced plays that don't show up in the box score. It's getting exhausting for me because, first of all, we're witnessing now that clearly it's a roster issue. And he's never been it's very difficult to properly equip LeBron with what he needs. But Skip gets on this rant about the LeBron and MJ comparison, and one can't help but think, first of all, some of these lineup choices are very bizarre. The three-point guard system is a sabotage at this point. I understand, some people have had success in the league, most notably Jeff Hornacek with the Phoenix Suns. But starting this week, Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, and Steph backcourt. And I'll tell you, I find it really hilarious. I find it very interesting that Steph is not really running point guard. For all this generational point guard, top 5 point guard of all time, I do find it very interesting that he's not running a lot of sets on that team, and he's primarily being used as a shooter, which is what I've been telling people, even with his Golden State era with Draymond. Less floor general than he is, sharpshooter. And so I always thought that was very bizarre that he continues to get these parallel comparisons with real guys like Drew Holiday, who, it's just crazy, man. Like, it really does. The truth comes out in the rinse. Drew Holiday moved over to 2 guard because he was running with Giannis in Milwaukee. But him and Chris Paul are the only point guards in this league who have displayed 3-level scoring, can guard you on the ball, and can see a play happen before it develops. And it's just crazy watching Holiday handle the lion's share of duties in terms of being a point guard. And the way he got his stuff swatted today, Steph, by Dennis Schrader in that Germany game today. I mean, man, that was such an awkward moment. It just is like, bro, don't ever disrespect the game talking about your top 10 of all time. No disrespect to Steph, man, because what he does, he's elite at. But it's just, today a lot was exposed, man, and you could just tell who's running the floor and who's running the offense for Team USA. And I'm watching this narration of, well, the dream team could never see the redeem team. Well, let's not forget who's the head coach, and let's not forget who the teammate of the head coach was. If Michael Jordan was Steve Kerr's teammate, just like when a lot of people forget, the Warriors had a lot of dystopia going on in their locker room when KD was there, and they were approaching that Bulls record, and there was suddenly people were questioning whether Kerr was going to try to beat that Chicago Bulls team that he was on record and Jordan's record, and and there was even trust issues in the locker room because they were like, is Kerr going to really coach this team to its full potential if it means that this current Warriors team will defeat the Bulls record? And the same thing is going on right now between Team USA and in this, because the lineups, like, you got LeBron playing power forward. Like, be for real, bro. He's not supposed to be, as a small forward, he does a very good job. He's a solid rebounder. You put him in the trenches and it eliminates all the best things about him. His instincts, his vertical, his speed to the spot, and being able to understand leverage paired with his size and speed dominance. And so now you got him just standing at a standstill and having to play the power game, and he's not getting overpowered, for goodness sakes. He was backing down Daniel Theis this evening. I mean, it was not this evening, this afternoon, and that's a center in the NBA. He's been a center in the NBA, and Theis was looking exceptionally comfortable, like most role players who get back to their homeland do and start taking their game to, like, a boost attribute, taking their game to the next level. LeBron was dueling it out with Theis on the low block. But it is very questionable the way that they're still trying to figure out, and I get it, you're going to do your trial and error musical chairs. That's actually a phenomenal tactic in order to figure out, in order to speed up the familiarity process. But why not do that in the second half after you've blown teams out? Why make it where you start the game off so close and then have to pull off these late game heroics, as opposed to, let's put our best lineup, which the best lineup starts with AD and Bam. And there's games where Bam is barely, and Bam is squeezing minutes in, but it should be like, he should be the clear-cut favorite. They're a different looking team when Bam and AD are on that perimeter. It can rival any, on that paint. It can rival any defensive duo you could put on Team USA's history. I'm talking anything with Hakeem, Pat, David Robinson, all that. Two ultra-athletic bigs who can cover a lot of ground in a short amount of time, even for all this step that Anthony Davis has lost. That really should how it begin, and then LeBron should be at the 1. You start Holiday at the 2. But again, Nike and all these guys, whoever it is trying to keep Curry in this image up that he's one of the guys, and he is to a degree. He has dominated a specific niche, a niche that actually in value is worth more than any other point. So because he's so overpowered in that, it's forcing them to go out here and continue this narrative. There's no way that Steve Kerr was going to have Curry off the bench. But Curry's not even running point, really, and he's not a defensive juggernaut. So it's like, that defense is very weak on the front. And it's the same thing going on in the NBA. I was even thinking this during the playoffs. I'm like, what really is stopping LeBron from getting more MVPs? As I was watching Jokic raise his third MVP. I'm like, put LeBron on the Denver Nuggets, and what do you think you got? Realistically, I know obviously you're going to have a center, a different center, but give him on the right of him, Michael Porter, who broke the Denver Nuggets single season record for most 3-pointers made. Give him a Jamal Murray, a Jam Murray at point guard. What do you think is going to catch Caldwell Pope? And then a versatile 4 like Aaron Gordon. And we're hearing that the Lakers are trying to get clutch client Jerian Grant, formerly of the Nuggets, on the Lakers roster. I don't know why the Blazers and the Lakers can't seem to pull off a Rohit Chimera, who just lost to Serbia with the Japan team, but did a wonderful job in that exhibition. Why that's not enough for the Blazers. Roy's a little bit more of a perimeter score type guy that will open up the paint. I hear they're planning on starting Donovan Clingan and DeAndre Ayton on the front line, moving him over to the three. No way you can have a 196 million guy coming off the bench. And if you're going to put an Ayton next to Clingan, then that's where he'll be. It's not much of a drop off at all, but you get a guy's a little bit more of a scorer, and that will free up the opportunities for your point guard who's looking on shaking ground, who looks like he needs to be spending more time in the G League. And I can't think of his name right now, the point guard who replaced Dame, which that was the other problem I had, Scoop Henderson, which was the other problem I had, because it's like the timing, it was too quick how fast they tried to replace Dame. But the Lakers, it was just reported this week that rival GMs view their four pieces as undesirable, whether it be for contract reasons or talent. And so it's like, what's really going on when your agent is Rob Pelinka, who happens to be Kobe's ex-agent? When your general manager is Kobe's ex-agent, do you really want LeBron to surpass Kobe's records? Do you really have a conflict of interest on how many rings he can win? It just feels like he's got to battle all these, landmines while trying to make a legacy for himself. And despite all these stats that he's conquering, people want to talk about, well, he's only got 4 and this and that. But every step he turns, it's like there's politics, it seems. I still tell people to this day, LeBron, it'll never make sense to me how the Boston Celtics Danny Ainge managed to get 2 first ballot Hall of Famers in one offseason with Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett should cost you a king's ransom. You shouldn't have anything left after making a trade for Garnett. And the same can be said about Ray Allen. But lo and behold, somehow Danny Ainge was able to pull that off. Being a part of the Celtics dynasty from his playing days, I'm sure helped. It's all about relationships, I understand. They had a long think piece on the draft round table. Woj, Stephen A., Bob Myers, which ironically was hilarious to me that he was on the page for that nepotism talk about Bronny, knowing that he got a job with the Commanders. What does he know about football? Oh, we want him to help us with the thought process and how to hire a GM. Whatever that nonsense was. But direct beneficiary of being nepotism. Calling him the architect of the Golden State Warriors while Jerry West was there, and they asked Jerry West, and that's when everything took off. It just kind of crazy to me. But at the end of the day, it just like you look at it and you're like, how else do you explain Danny Ainge getting 3 first ballot? His whole career has been like this. And when you look at him now, it's funny because at the end, it's more than ever the facts are revealing itself. How many rings could he have really gotten? How many MVPs is he really entitled to? When you see him actually semi in a position with pieces around him that are legit threats. Look how dominant he looks, even at 40. Now imagine 08 LeBron with a proper staff around him. They crucified him for putting together that team in Miami, which Wade was losing in Miami the year prior. I think they got 19 wins. That was the 19-win year. Chris Bosh was mediocre in Toronto. So they assembled that roster in Miami, and that first year was dreadful. And even then, I tell people it was the worst dynasty ever because Wade and LeBron have similar styles of play. And Chris Bosh was regulated to shooting 3-pointers. He's a triple threat off the box type of scorer. So, it's just amazing to me, like how they cut your legs off and tell you to run. It's really, truly ridiculous. We're watching this right now at 40. Ran through Serbia. Made Giannis look real normal. And even AD did a number on Serbia when the tables were even. When you get some comparable, comparable talent, and next to these guys, AD and LeBron, everything looks different. AD's playing with a different ferocity. LeBron is out here splitting the defenders still, outrunning everyone down the court, chase down blocks, everything. People were literally posting block by James. Really makes you wonder, how great is he truly, and what his stat line really could have been in a perfect world. I'll try to do better next time, Utopians. Global, out.